Hello, and welcome to the second part of the CFSI Virtual Mini Symposium on lithium-ion batteries. My name is Bill Webb, and I serve as Executive Director of the Congressional Fire Services Institute. As we discussed in last week's session, lithium-ion batteries are widely used, and despite their many benefits as a power source, they can and do pose health and safety risks to our nation's first responders when problems occur. Our speakers with UL Standards and Engagement and the National Fire Sprinkler Association shared some very important information on how their organizations are addressing safety concerns through research, data collection, and advocacy. Today's session, scheduled for approximately 1 hour, will feature a series of educational and training videos on the proper use and storage of lithium-ion batteries and safety measures when responding to incidents involving these batteries. The videos were produced by various members of the CFSI National Advisory Committee, a 38-member committee of National Fire and Emergency Services organizations tasked with developing consensus on national fire service issues. The work of the NAC enables the national fire organizations to speak in a unified voice on major issues affecting our 1 million firefighters and emergency services personnel, including such issues as funding for the AFG and SAFER grant programs. These two grant programs provide support to fire departments to ensure that they have the proper training, equipment, and staffing to respond to emergencies, including emergencies caused by lithium-ion batteries. Working collaboratively through CFSI, NAC members also advocate for other federal programs, including the United States Fire Administration and the National Fire Academy, National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, Bureau of Justice Assistance, which administers the Public Safety Officers Benefit Program, and federal wildfire programs. Thanks to our symposium sponsors, UL Standards and Engagement and the National Fire Sprinkler Association, and we thank each of you for participating in today's program. At this time, let's start playing the videos.
We are going to begin today's information on trainings and programs available to the fire service with a video from the International Association of Fire Chiefs.
Hey everybody, Michael Bryan, the chair of the International Association of Fire Chiefs Lithium-Ion Battery Committee, and also fire chief here at the Brighton Area Fire Authority in Michigan. And we wanted to make sure you're aware of the work that the International Association of Fire Chiefs is doing as it relates to developing resources in local communities and how they respond to battery incidents. From large commercial grade energy storage systems to EV vehicles and even home energy storage in somebody's home, as well as mobility devices, our fire service across the globe is challenged in not only developing its assets, but making sure its firefighters know what to do when one of these incidents occurs in their community. We hope you take a look at our webpage by searching iafc.org. Take a look at some of the work that our committee is doing and providing, and it's really been our challenge to hopefully provide communities with resources to develop their overall community resource. So how we do plan reviews, what should be in codes and standards, to how we equip our firefighters that are on these fire trucks every day. We want them successful when an emergency happens, so take a look, iafc.org, check out our resources from the Lithium-Ion Battery Committee.
Please enjoy a PowerPoint from the International Association of Firefighters explaining their research, resources, and trainings available. Please enjoy this video from the National Fire Protection Association detailing their resources, trainings, and programs available.
Hi, Seth Stetler with the National Fire Protection Association. I'm pleased to share information on NFPA's lithium-ion battery resources. As a codes and standards organization, We update all of our standards every 3 to 5 years to reflect changes, including emerging technologies. For example, NFPA 1 Fire Code has been updated to include lithium-ion battery best practices, such as criteria for where e-mobility devices are stored, charged, or used. NFPA 800 is a new standard that we have proposed, titled Battery Safety Code, which aims to provide uniform, minimum requirements for addressing battery hazards across their entire life cycle. It will focus on fire, electrical, life safety, and property protection related to batteries, all the way from raw materials and production to storage, use, and end of life. A technical committee is in the early developmental stages of NFPA 800. As a leader in fire and life safety education, our public education efforts extend to both consumers and professionals. Currently, we are heavily promoting training related to this year's Fire Prevention Week, which is October 5th to 11th. We hope you will join us. The theme for this year's FPW Fire Prevention Week campaign is Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home. In the campaign, we work to educate everyone about using these batteries safely. With presidential proclamations and the support of the entire fire service, NFPA has led this nation's longest public health observance for more than 100 years. There's 3 fundamental educational messages in this year's Fire Prevention Week campaign. First, buy only listed products. When buying a product that uses a lithium-ion battery, look for a safety certification mark, such as UL, ETL, or CSA. This means it meets important safety criteria. Second, charge devices safely. Always use the cords that came with the product to charge. Follow the instructions from the manufacturer. Buy new chargers from the manufacturer or one that the manufacturer has approved. Charge your device on a hard surface. Don't overcharge your device. Unplug it or remove the battery when it's fully charged. And third, recycle batteries responsibly. Don't throw lithium-ion batteries in the trash or regular recycling bins because they could start a fire. Recycle your device or battery at a safe battery recycling location. Visit calltorecycle.org to find a recycling spot near you. Now you can access those 3 messages and lots of free materials at nfpa.org/FPW. In addition to these educational resources, we offer a lot of consumer training on lithium-ion batteries, which can be found by going to nfpa.org, clicking on Education and Research, then Home Fire Safety, and then Lithium-Ion Battery Safety. Also on our website are targeted training opportunities for professionals, including courses for tow and salvage operators, dealerships, insurance adjusters, and code officials, among others. A popular choice is our Alternative Fuels Vehicle Training Program for first responders, a 4-hour online course that costs less than $30 for NFPA members. While much of our training is free, as a self-funded nonprofit organization, we do charge minimal fees for professionals to access our codes and standards, as well as some of our guides and training. That revenue that comes from granting access to copyrighted materials helps fund the ongoing revisions of our more than 300 codes and standards, many of which are considered the best in the world. We are grateful to CFSI and so many other organizations for supporting the Congressional Pro Codes Act, which would protect this system by restating the underlying copyrights in exchange for the public having free access to read-only codes and standards of interest. One important note on available resources. For more than a decade, NFPA served as the depository of the emergency response guides for each model of electric vehicles, a critical resource for emergency responders. That information is now available on the website for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Thanks so much for supporting NFPA. As Fire Prevention Week nears, please join us in encouraging folks to charge into fire safety by using both our formal and informal training resources.
Please enjoy this video from the National Fire Sprinkler Association going over resources they have regarding lithium-ion batteries.
Hi, my name is Jeff Dunkel. I'm a fire protection engineer with the National Fire Sprinkler Association. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are not a new technology, but they are a hazard that is growing that is new to the fire protection industry because of the way lithium-ion batteries are being used today. Like I said, there's nothing new about lithium-ion batteries. They've been around since the 90s. But the unique hazard in thermal runaway caused in lithium-ion batteries is a challenge. It's a challenge to extinguish the fires. It's a challenge to prevent. Once it happens, it's hard to stop. And that unique aspect of a fire is a challenge today in our codes, in our response, emergency response, and things like that. So what NFSA has done is we created a guide. We're not here to try to provide the requirements necessarily and tell you everything you need to know about your particular project or how to respond to a fire. Our goal is to educate, and our goal is to show you the resources, educate you on what is unique about lithium-ion battery fires and how each application changes depending on how those batteries are used. And so hopefully with our guide, at least give somebody a starting point. So the goal is somebody that gets their first lithium-ion project or has something coming into their jurisdiction and they just don't know where to start. And so we're trying to give that starting point of giving a general knowledge about batteries and where they can go for resources. So one thing that's unique about lithium-ion batteries is depending on how you use them, the hazard changes greatly. So if I'm using a lithium-ion battery in an energy storage system, so it's constantly being charged, discharged, and maybe overheating, heating up, maybe too cold, there's different aspects that changes that hazard versus if I'm just simply storing a lithium-ion battery. So if I'm storing new lithium-ion batteries in cartons, typically they're not fully charged, and a lot of the times that would greatly change the hazard. It'd be a much reduced hazard and compared to a energy storage system where the batteries would be continually discharged and charged. So and just like EVs are mobile. They get overheated, they get damaged, and often there's not a fixed fire suppression system around to mitigate that hazard. So depending on how what the application is, lithium-ion battery hazards change pretty drastically. So in our guide, we talk about the different constructions or different types of lithium-ion batteries. And this also does change the hazard a bit. All lithium-ion batteries have the same thing, anode, cathode, a separator, and electrolyte. And they all function similarly. However, depending on the application, they're going to come in different shapes, containers, sizes, and things like that. And so all of that will change how you can suppress a fire or how the thermal runaway will propagate between the cells. And just the shape of it alone can change the way a thermal runaway event behaves. Just like the battery construction, there are multiple different types of lithium-ion batteries, and we refer to this as chemistries. So you may have a LFP battery, which is iron phosphate battery, or NMC, nickel manganese cobalt, something like that. So depending on what the anode, cathode, electrolyte is comprised of, changes the properties of the battery, how much energy it can store once it goes in thermal runaway, how violent that reaction is. Some tend to think that some chemistries are safer than the others. We're getting data that shows kind of both ways, that they may be safer in one aspect but not in another. And so chemistries do matter, not saying that they don't, but the hope for our guide is to kind of show some data and kind of be able to give you a comparison of how each battery chemistry reacts in a thermal runaway event. The guide also talks about state of charge. Depending on what the percentage of charge in a battery cell is, will greatly affect the severity of thermal runaway. A battery at 30% charge is going to have far less of a reaction than a battery at 100%. Again, not here to provide you necessarily the answers to a specific battery or your specific project. Just hopefully that we can kind of get the general knowledge of how a fully charged battery acts differently than a partially charged battery. And once you kind of learn this baseline knowledge, then you can go and try to get more detail about the specific battery you're working with and apply mitigation measures appropriately. And as I stated before, the applications matter. Whether I'm storing a battery, whether I'm using a battery, whether it's in an EV, changes the hazard, in some cases drastically. One of the more common applications for lithium-ion batteries right now is an energy storage system, whether it's an energy storage system for a grid, for a whole city, or a power area, or whether it's a backup power for a hospital, business, something like that. We're seeing a lot of businesses go away from diesel generators to large energy storage systems. It's less maintenance. Yes, we do have this new issue to deal with thermal runaway, but they tend to be a little bit more reliable and less maintenance and act a little quicker than a generator would. Now, in terms of thermal runaway, energy storage systems tend to be the higher risk just because these batteries are being continually charged and discharged, being used. They potentially could overheat, and that could cause thermal runaway. And so the challenge with energy storage systems is being able to get us economically get enough batteries into a small space in order to get the power needed without creating too much risk. And this is where NFPA 855 comes in. And 855 is one of the only prescriptive criteria we have out there for lithium-ion batteries, where sprinklers are the only prescriptive suppression system in code currently. But there's a lot of confusion about what NFPA 855 requires, and so our guide actually provides some actual graphics and more explanation to help you understand what the goal of 855 is. Another big topic in lithium-ion batteries is parking garages. EVs are becoming more prevalent, and as time goes on, we will see more EVs undoubtedly. This has created a challenge in many ways for parking garages. Do we need to suppress them? Do we not need to suppress them? Are they same as internal combustion engines? Things like that. We know they're not a direct correlation to internal combustion engines. As far as fires go, the events tend to last longer. But we do have new data out that shows at least the heat release rate is the same in an EV versus a internal combustion engine. And NFPA 88A, NFPA 101, the fire code, they all have a few additional requirements now for parking garages. In some cases, parking garages are required to be sprinkled where they didn't need to be before. And in some cases, like the NFPA 13 has now increased the recommended hazard classification for parking garages from OH1 to OH2, increasing the water. That was partly because of lithium-ion batteries. Again, we're not here to give you everything you need to work on a specific parking garage, but hopefully we'll be able to give you the base knowledge you need, so that way you can go ahead and go start your research, start your code plan, and figure out the proper way to protect these. In addition to energy storage, bulk battery storage, parking garages, we also cover other topics, such as micromobility devices and other applications such as handheld devices. Again, these are a little bit of a challenge, especially from the sprinkler standpoint, because micromobility devices and these handheld devices are not always in sprinkler spaces. But there are some aspects, right? So battery recycling, things like that, the waste stream we have to deal with, and how do we mitigate those hazards properly. Areas where we're charging micromobility devices, in some cases we're seeing sprinklers being required and things like that. So it's a topic that's still developing, and we'll have more as things develop, and hopefully we'll have a solid base to start with on that front. All right, so in conclusion, this guide is just that. It's a guide to help you learn batteries, right? So the goal is not to give you every aspect of every hazard or every project so you can figure out exactly what you need for your project. This guide is intended for the people that have little to no knowledge about lithium-ion batteries and maybe having their first battery project coming into their jurisdiction, and they want to make sure they're at least understanding the hazard. So we start by describing the hazard, and we start by explaining why that hazard is so much different than traditional hazards. And in the end, hopefully you'll have a good base knowledge to where you can start that code development process and mitigate your hazard properly. And the best part about all of this, my favorite part, is it's a living document. And so as more information comes out, as things develop, we're going to incorporate those things into our guide. And so check back often, ask questions often. If you guys have anything to add, we'd be happy to add it if it's pertinent. So I was excited about this project when we developed it. I'm excited to be a part of the community and help in this way. If you have a lithium-ion battery project and you're not too familiar with the hazard, look at our guide. I think it'll help. Again, if nothing else, it'll give you a good starting point. Thank you.
Please enjoy this video from UL Fire Safety Research Institute detailing 2 trainings they have available.
Anyone who's a believer in firefighting needs to fight the fires even before they start.
This course will equip firefighters with the tools to leverage their existing fireground knowledge to have more impactful interactions with their community by implementing research-based education.
Firefighters are the critical connection piece to the community. The people look at us as a resource. There's no better messenger than people that have that degree of public trust.
Firefighters are so eager to be with the community and provide a high level of service, whether it's reactive response or it's education. But we do see a discomfort that exists because they're not really certain what to say. Of course, they have a lot of professional offerings. They can talk about what they've done, but there has been a gap for a while. So we're really excited to be able to steer them towards FSRI's resource that will provide them with the information that will heighten their own level of comfort when they're in these educational situations and fill in the spaces where they need evidence to support what their experience is.
The world around us is changing. Fires are changing, the people that we're working with are changing, the built environment that we have is changing. In order to keep up with that, we have to stay on the cutting edge. Whether it's putting water on a fire or it's teaching the public how to prevent those fires or react to those fires. And the program that FSRI has put together is a tremendous tool to help get us to that point.
Well, this course offers a variety of benefits to us as the firefighter. FSRI and our fire prevention bureaus have done such a great job with getting the message of public education out to schools, out to homes and families. We on the response side have the unique opportunity to meet them where they work and live. This gives us an opportunity to have talking points as we make those contacts in people's homes, at their places of work, to further solidify the education that's been put out there, and how we can continue to have talking points within our own department to solidify our strategies and tactics and take those to the fire ground to support the education message that's being put out there.
Operations and prevention sometimes are seen as two different divisions when we're one fire department. As long as we're making every effort possible, operations with prevention, removing silos and working together, it's about being one team and keeping everybody safe.
The responsibility is now incumbent upon us to ensure that the strategies and tactics, the things that we're instituting on the fire ground, support that message. That when we ask the public to put their faith and trust in us and follow what we say to do, that we support those things and we ensure that they know that we are coming for them with the most aggressive and sound tactics to give them and their loved ones the best opportunity.
Cell phones and laptops, toothbrushes and power tools, electric vehicles, scooters and bikes. All of these products use lithium-ion batteries. Despite the many advantages they bring us, lithium-ion batteries can overheat, catch fire, and in extreme cases, cause explosions. Fires involving various lithium-ion battery products are increasing at an alarming rate and have resulted in numerous injuries and fatalities. These incidents drive the need to better understand the physical phenomena that determine how hazards develop during lithium-ion battery incidents and to develop strategies to mitigate the associated risks. This is why FSRI is actively researching the hazards from lithium-ion batteries to better understand the impact of battery-involved fires and explosions. This training course focuses on the foundational research about lithium-ion batteries, thermal runaway, and how fire and explosion hazards can develop. The knowledge you gain from this course can help you to identify the risks associated with lithium-ion battery products in your personal and professional use. To learn more about lithium-ion battery safety, go to our Fire Safety Academy at training.fsri.org.
Sprinklers protect what fire will destroy. Whether you live in a house or a high-rise, protect it with fire sprinklers. Fire sprinklers buy time. Time buys life. Learn more at firesprinklersbylife.com.
Today, fires burn with unprecedented intensity and speed, largely due to the synthetic materials and the volume of items within homes. Because of this, there exists an unparalleled urgency for the installation of fire sprinkler systems. The NFSA is dedicated to the noble pursuit of safeguarding lives and property from the ravages of fire. Its mission revolves around advocating for the widespread adoption of the fire sprinkler, aiming to foster a safer world for all.
Please enjoy this video from the North American Fire Training Directors as Ken Willett goes over what trainings are available and how the trainings are developed.
Hi, this is Ken Willett, Executive Director for the North American Fire Training Directors, and I've been asked to give a brief overview of how my members, who are the state and provincial level directors of fire training here in North America, including the US and Canada, and how they are helping the fire service address the risk of lithium-ion batteries and the training and other activities they're engaged in. So what I'd like to do is to kind of give you a very high overview of what's taking place across our members. And if you're not sure if there is a member of NAFTE in your state, or if you're not sure who is your director of state fire training, you can go to our website, nafte.org. That's Nancy Allen Frank Thomas David.org. And under the membership tab, we have a membership listing of all of our members by state with their contact information. So if you hear of something in your state as I'm talking with you and you don't know who is the best contact at your state fire academy, go to nafte.org, look at the membership tab, find your state, find the director of training, and use the contact information to reach out to them to ask you a question. So the state academies are approaching the challenges of lithium-ion batteries in a couple of different ways. First and foremost is the direct delivery of training. Now, some of our members have gone and created their own curriculum, drawing from other external sources, bringing in subject matter experts, sending their staff out to webinars and trainings to bring back the content, and then developing a program to address the needs of that particular state. Now, for example, the Vermont Fire Academy has a 3-hour awareness level program for lithium-ion batteries. The Connecticut Fire Academy, not only do they have training on it, further, they have developed a guidance document for the fire service on how to respond to an incident involving lithium-ion batteries. So in Connecticut, not only have they developed the training, but they've developed a standalone guidance document that can be used to better inform the local fire department what precautions they should be taking, how should they be organizing themselves and preparing themselves to respond to a lithium-ion battery fire. In Rhode Island, they were seeking state money to develop a specialized training program within their academy focused exclusively on lithium-ion battery fires. And in Arkansas, just recently, they delivered an 8-hour program on lithium-ion batteries and the fires that result from when they go into thermal runaway and other occurrences. And they delivered that training to an industrial client, not a municipal fire department, but somebody in an industrial setting that has either an on-site brigade or it was the staff that engages with the lithium-ion batteries. So they delivered the training to increase their awareness of the risks and hazards when you work around lithium-ion batteries. And lastly, TEACS, Texas A&M, which is our member in Texas, they've developed a full library of training, and they have a 4-hour program that's available. But additionally, they've done additional research, and they've looked at the contaminants to firefighters' personal protective equipment and themselves after they've encountered a lithium-ion battery fire, and what can be done to properly decon after such an event. So that's one way we do it, is through the direct delivery of training with content that we've curated ourselves. Also, our academies have hosted partners externally with a lot of information about this. Tesla, for example, has delivered their lithium-ion battery safety courses at our state academies. The Fire Science Research Institute, the affiliate of the UL Fire Research Institutes, has done a lot of training and made that material available totally free. And many of our academies have taken that material and used it as part of their training and made their students aware of it. Now, what NAFTE in particular has done as an organization is we partnered with NFPA, and we partnered on 2 specific projects. The first was called the FIRST Project, and what that resulted in was a learning experience for a firefighter that is in a gaming environment, and it involves the firefighter or a team of firefighters, because it's multiplayer, responding to the scene of a residential fire. And in that residential structure, there are photovoltaic or solar panels, there is an electric vehicle, and there's an energy storage system. Now, both the electric vehicle and the energy storage system have lithium-ion batteries. And the game is done so that you can select scenarios. You can do it in a learning mode, and then you can actually do it in a playing mode so that you're actually going against the clock, if you will, to achieve the objectives and see how quickly you can do that. And it takes the firefighter through the scenario that they arrive on the scene of this 2-story residential structure with an attached garage that has a fire in the garage that is involving the electric vehicle. The photovoltaic panels are an exposure to the fire. They're above the fire. But in the garage is also an energy storage system with lithium-ion batteries. So in this situation, the firefighter has to control the avatar firefighter and can respond to prompts and initiate tactical action. And if it's correct, they get a thumbs up. If it's not correct, they get a prompt and they get to retry it until they learn how to do it correctly. They can play it multiple times. So that's one way, is the availability of FIRST. The second is we partnered with NFPA on the DER, Distributed Energy Resources Program, and we worked in concert to produce a field guide that is meant for firefighters in the field about to do a site familiarization tour of a facility with lithium-ion batteries, and to give them the prompts in the field of what they should be looking for, what are the hazards, and what should they be concerned about from a tactical point of view should they respond to that facility. So in this DER, DERFG, DER field guide, you can have an experience with a energy storage facility. You can have an experience with a electric vehicle or with photovoltaic panels. There are also within this experience resources that you can connect to externally to further improve your knowledge on the topic. Now, both of these, the FIRST and the field guide, are available at no charge and can be downloaded. If you go to the website, derstfg.org, that's derstfg.org, you'll be presented with your opening page, and it gives you directions on how to access each of the programs, either as a student or how you can download it along with other materials to use in your own department for training. What NAFTE did with NFPA to prepare our instructors is we had the subject matter experts who worked with NFPA on preparing their lithium-ion battery response class to do a class for NAFTE instructors. And it was to give the instructors the theory and the reasoning and the stories behind some of the teaching points, because a lot of training is designed to the firefighter as the student. But what's missing is if the instructor is presenting it, they need to have the background knowledge so that they can be credible, they can answer the students' questions, and they can really cover the topic fully. So we did an instructor development program. Nearly 100 instructors from NAFTE organizations took this. At the completion of it, they were able to utilize the NFPA curriculum and deliver it in their fire academy. And we had several fire academies that did do that. So we're doing it not only by working in concert with external partners, we're also doing it to improve the knowledge of our academy instructors so that they are credible and have the most current information. And then the last thing NAFTE as an organization is doing to address the lithium-ion battery is engaging in research. And we've partnered with the Fire Protection Research Foundation, and they are launching a program that is examining the exposure of personal protective equipment to lithium-ion battery fires, and then what are the contaminants, but also what is the efficacy of the cleaning of the PPE following the event. And the other partners of this collaboration include the Illinois Fire Service Institute, and then North Carolina State University. So NAFTE as an organization is working to enable our members to develop curriculum at the local state academy level. We're engaging with external partners to develop curriculum that we share freely, and we're also participating in research. That's what NAFTE does, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me at kwillette@nafte.org, and I'll be glad to help you out. Take care and stay safe.
Please enjoy this video from the International Association of Arson Investigators detailing current trainings that are available.
The International Association of Arson Investigators streams CFItrainer.net's free online training to over 180,000 of your peers involved in fire investigation. Fire investigation professionals have earned more than 4.5 million credit hours on the network. One of CFItrainer.net's flagship modules related to today's symposium is lithium-ion battery fires. In this module, you'll learn lithium-ion battery construction, components, function, and formats. You'll see how cells are assembled into packs, how that affects voltage and amperage, and the diversity of battery applications. With the technical groundwork laid, the module then covers how lithium-ion batteries can fail, including manufacturing defects, mechanical abuse, thermal abuse, and electrical abuse. The process of thermal runaway is described in detail. Then the module focuses on common events that can induce failure, like separator puncture, excessive ambient temperature, and overcharging. Lithium-ion battery fires concludes with mitigating the potential safety hazards at scenes where damaged or potentially damaged lithium-ion batteries are present, including sustained heating, electric shock, off-gassing, explosion, flame spread, and rekindle. Lithium-ion batteries are also a major topic in a 2-module series on electric and hybrid vehicles. Electric and Hybrid Vehicle Design Basics covers lithium-ion batteries in the context of energy storage for the vehicle. Topics covered include addressing safety concerns, energy storage system design using lithium-ion batteries assembled into modules and packs, the battery management system, battery system components, conversion of AC from the charge port into DC for battery storage, and onboard charging systems like regenerative braking. Electric and Hybrid Vehicle Fires focuses on the investigation of fires in these types of vehicles, beginning with basic safety practices prior to and during the vehicle examination, from identifying components to locating the batteries to ensuring the vehicle has been made safe. The scene safety assessment is a critical part of this process, and the module includes tips for how to complete that in an electric or hybrid vehicle fire scene. The Common Failure Modes section of the module discusses how lithium-ion batteries in vehicles commonly fail, including manufacturing defects, mechanical abuse, thermal abuse, and electrical abuse like overcharging and impact damage to a cell from a crash. The content is delivered with high-impact video, graphics, animation, diagrams, and narration that is clear and to the point. All CFItrainer.net modules focus on practical, actionable information that you can put into practice immediately at your next scene or use as a departure point for further training. CFItrainer.net is free and available 24/7, 365. With over 90 online modules, it's an excellent way to fulfill NFPA's 1033 continuing education requirements. Tested training certificates are available for all modules. Your CFItrainer.net transcript documents which modules you complete, so you can submit them to your organization for continuing education credit. Register at CFItrainer.net and start training in lithium-ion batteries today. From all of us at the International Association of Arson Investigators, we wish you the best and hope you stay safe out there.
Please enjoy this video from the American Fire Sprinkler Association detailing a training they currently have.
My name is Bob Caputo, and I'm with the American Fire Sprinkler Association. This video will introduce some concerns with the developing technology and fire-related concerns associated with batteries, especially the lithium-ion batteries, and most importantly, not just cars and vehicles, but electromobility, scooters and bicycles, and everyday things we use like drill motors and even your cell phone.
The world is changing fast. Electric vehicles, e-bikes, scooters, and energy storage systems are shaping our streets and our future. But with innovation comes risk, and fire departments across the country are facing a new challenge: lithium-ion battery fires. While electric vehicle fires are less frequent than those involving gasoline-powered cars, they are much harder to fight. They burn hotter, longer, and can reignite hours or even days later. The danger often stems from thermal runaway, a chain reaction where heat triggers chemical instability, leading to intense fires, toxic gases, and explosions. And it's not just cars. Fires caused by e-bikes, hoverboards, power tools, and consumer electronics are skyrocketing, especially in residential areas. In 2023 alone, New York City saw over 360 lithium-ion battery fires, resulting in dozens of injuries and 18 deaths. That's why targeted training is essential. Firefighters must learn how to identify, contain, and extinguish these unique threats, and do so safely. National fire safety organizations like the American Fire Sprinkler Association are sounding the alarm, emphasizing the need for advanced fire suppression systems, updated response protocols, and stronger regulations. Modern solutions like integrated suppression systems, specialized sprinklers, and Class D extinguishers are being developed to address these evolving dangers. Our response must be threefold: education to train responders and the public, engineering to build safer devices and systems, and enforcement to ensure battery quality and safety standards are met. The electromobility movement is here to stay. It's up to us to keep pace through preparedness, innovation, and a shared commitment to safety. Learn more, get trained, save lives.
Please enjoy this video from the Center for Campus Fire Safety as they detail one of their programs.
Hello, I'm Alan Sachter, Fire Marshal at the University of Maryland and President of the Center for Campus Fire Safety. The Center for Campus Fire Safety Lithium-Ion Battery Fire Reporting Program is a national data reporting initiative intended to help campus fire safety professionals in their efforts to develop educational programs, policies and procedures, and advocacy initiatives. The goal of the reporting program is to compile data specific to college and university facilities and operations, which can include residential facilities, laboratory and research, physical plant and energy, academic buildings, recreational and public assembly facilities. The criteria for the information to be reported are incidents that occur on a university or college campus or a university or college associated facility, in off-campus housing, which is defined as housing within 3 miles of the campus that is not a student's permanent or home residence, and in fraternity and sorority houses. The reporting is open to colleges and universities, fire departments, state and local fire and code enforcement agencies. The reporting process is simple and takes less than 5 minutes. There are only a few fields to complete for basic information and the option to provide more detailed information. Data is published twice per year on the CCFS website and is available upon request by emailing support@campusfiresafety.org. To report a lithium-ion battery fire or to review current statistics, please visit the CCFS website at myccfs.org.
This concludes our program. Thanks again for joining us. We hope you learned something that will help you in your work. We also thank once again UL Standards and Engagement and the National Fire Sprinkler Association for sponsoring this 2-part symposium on lithium-ion batteries. The month of August is when members of Congress are out of session. Many of them will spend time in their states and congressional districts meeting with their constituents. I encourage you to contact your members and set up meetings of your own to share with your representatives how they can support the fire service at the federal level. Our website, www.cfsi.org, has information on how to set up these meetings and information sheets on a broad range of legislation CFSI is tracking that you can use in your meetings. One piece of legislation we support is setting consumer standards for Lithium-Ion Batteries Act, H.R. 973 and Senate Bill 389. If you have any questions about setting up meetings or question about legislation that we are tracking, please feel free to email us at update@cfsi.org. Thanks and stay safe.